Kelsey at the movies, except this time it's Rachel at the movies. Kelsey did not go and see this movie with me, but I went to AMC to check out Minari, starring Steven Yeun. I looked up how to pronounce that, but it was like an hour ago, so I think I'm correct on that. Anyway, you might know Steven from Walking Dead. Spoiler! He doesn't meet Lucille in this movie, so you can rest assured that you're okay on that front. Gosh, that kind of hurts just to even think about. Minari is about a Korean family who has come to the United States. They've moved from California to Arkansas. And so the movie is about that journey and the experiences they undergo. Go, wait, or skip on this movie? I'm going to say wait, but with a lean towards go. This movie was quiet. It was, you're going to sit and just be prepared to just relax and enjoy this movie. It had a lot of depth to it. But I wouldn't say you got to rush out and go see it. But if you like movies, I definitely think this needs to be on your list. And if you like seeing kind of the best movies of the year, I think that this definitely needs to be on your list. What I really liked about this movie was that it seemed to me that the movie maker wasn't putting a lot of opinions and agenda and layering that all over the movie. Instead, it was like he was presenting a family and how real human beings are, and let their behaviors and decisions and actions as they unfold with it, different experiences and their journey in this very specific situation. And it wasn't just the family, it was the supporting characters in the movie as well, which is really fantastic because sometimes they focus on the family, but then the other characters are kind of one-dimensional. But I thought everybody that came into this movie had a little bit of depth. Or just a little bit of realness. That people seemed like real human beings. That's how real human beings act. And yeah, I thought it was, the movie maker did an excellent job with that. So, and this movie kept me engaged the whole time. So like I said, it's not this big action movie, sprawling, CGI kind of thing going on. Yet, I was engaged in this movie the whole time. The characters, the emotional depth of the movie, it just did a really good job with the visuals. I saw a review that said that it satisfied, if you wanted to see kind of the landscape, of America, that idea of land and the American dream. The movie had bits and pieces of those ideas, but put into just a regular life. And when I say regular life, it wasn't that their life wasn't unique, because it was very unique and they went through hard things. But what I mean is that regular in the sense that this is how things unfold for human beings. Not everything is an epic journey with a hero and a good guy and a bad guy. No, things are much more nuanced and layered. And this movie definitely had all of that stuff. So I really, really enjoyed that. Spoilers. If I get into spoilers, I'm not sure that I will, but in case I do, you've been warned. The movie has subtitles. Rotten Tomatoes score, critics, moviegoers, people like this movie. Like I was mentioning earlier, the characters just being regular human beings. So, we all, we strive, we want to, maybe you don't. I want to be the hero, and sometimes we get these sprawling tales. If you look at something like Lord of the Rings and the various heroes in that movie, yeah, and I think that that's great, and I think that there's a time and a place for that, and I love it. But this movie, I don't know, more in the just regular day-to-day life, we're trying our best. We're doing the best that we can. And sometimes we make really great decisions. So if you take the father in this movie, I thought him taking a risk, He wanted a dream. He didn't want this mediocre life that he had, where sure, he could make money so that his kids would be okay, his family would be okay, but he would be just unhappy, his life. Instead, he was you know what? We could have something even better, and I'm going to risk it all to try this. And that's I really admire that, and it's something that I've struggled with in my own life, so I think that's why I see the admiration in it. I feel like I've spent most of my life living in a place of comfort, never take any risks because I was too afraid to fail. Well, here's a guy that took a big risk. Love that. And that's kind of hero stuff, right? But then, like, this character also, you see him in his day-to-day life. Well, did he really communicate his dream well to his family? It doesn't seem like maybe he did. Seems like he's not always emotionally available to his wife and his children. Is he maybe a little, like, angry sometimes? And how does he handle that? Like, can he ask for help, like, when he needs help? Is he open to things that are different than him, different ideas, different cultures? Like, you got to see all this play out in this one character. But, like, the movie did it with all the characters. Even, like, if I can just talk quickly about a supporting character, he ends up hiring this guy to help him on his farm. This guy, in my opinion, if I describe him, is rather eccentric. I don't know that I share all his theology. I don't know if I, would be like, hey, I don't know why you're doing some of these things. I don't know what I think about it. But yet, like, the movie this was just a guy. And he was nuanced. He was like a rich tapestry of a human being. Furthermore, to say even more, the movie maker not only did a good job of just showing a human being's day to day, but without, I said earlier, his opinion, his agenda, any of that being thrown on top of this of like, oh, this person's bad, this person's good. Be like this person. No, like everybody in this movie they were just a person. And so like that guy that he hired to help, people might have all kinds of opinions, but like none of that was thrown in the movie. Instead, what I got really was this guy seemed like he was full of love. And it didn't really matter if you thought if you didn't agree with his theology, if you thought he was too eccentric, if you're like, oh, this guy, if I was there, you make me really uncomfortable. The movie didn't throw on any opinions. Another really small role in the movie was the father of a playmate of the little boy. And this guy, he shows up. Apparently, he's supposed to be watching the two kids, but he hasn't been there all night. He shows up in the morning and kind of, just gives some platitudes of, here's your breakfast. Eat your breakfast. Breakfast, he might have said something like breakfast is the most important meal of the day, yet he's just come off what looks like maybe a bender, And then he shares a story with the kids that, about suicide. I think they're a little too young for it to understand. But the movie didn't drop any opinions on if this guy was good or bad. It just said, you know what? Here's a person. And yeah, it did this with all the characters. I felt like the movie had a lot of realness. Like, it was just dripping with realness. And there was something really, really great about that. And something that felt homey, even though this was a movie about a time, a place, a family, a culture, like everything that was very different from me, yet it felt kind of homey because I was just seeing people as they are. The other thing that I also really liked about the movie, it didn't go overboard with any of the characters. So I mentioned earlier, the father, I think, made like a heroic decision, yet we got to see some of his maybe other flaws, and how it affected his family, how it affected his marriage, things like that. So he wasn't just a full-on hero. And so the movie didn't go overboard in that direction. It also didn't go overboard. So if you saw the trailer, you could tell that the little boy in the movie, that he was pretty, spunky, pretty lovable, likable, and, had just something about him that was pretty great. The movie could have really honed in on that and made him a central figure. He would have been scene stealing, every step of the way. But it didn't do that either. And I feel like that's real life because when, if I meet a 6-8-year-old kid and they've got this kind of great personality and where they can even connect with you, they don't do it all the time. They are like a kid. So, I felt like that played out in this movie, too. Sometimes writers will make kids little adults, but I felt like they did a good job of giving this kid a spunky personality while also making him a kid. His older sister, definitely, I just saw that older sister kind of role that she was in, and the way how that unfolded throughout the movie too, where yeah, she took care of things, but was she like just a full-on adult? Like, no. She sometimes didn't know what to do, and sometimes she kind of froze in situations where she wasn't sure what to do, or she was nervous or scared or something like that. Very normal. So I really love movies that keep, especially kids, like in their normal, how a kid would be. This movie did that, but with all the characters. I just thought I wasn't sure what to expect with this movie. It was one of those movies, when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, is this going to be about a certain thing? Is it, like, I felt like it was, somebody might make this movie to be like, oh, this is what people went through when they were immigrants, and it was wrong and bad, and that's fine. Like, you know, there can be movies like that, but I guess I feel like maybe there's a lot of that, a lot of content like that, and so this movie, I thought, I don't know, it just, you know, it was like, here's a family. They're going to go on a journey. They're going to have some experiences, and some of it's going to be really hard. And to me, that's what life is, you know? Learning, and what I saw in this family is that they learned how to love more deeply. And to me, that's what life is. Learning how to love more and better. And, you know, at one point in this movie, this family was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. We're going to part ways because this is too much and I can't do it. But then something happened and it brought them closer together. And so that's what I mean. And it was all of them. It was, you know, husband and wife, mother and daughter, grandmother, grandparents, whole family. That's what the journey of life is all about. And this movie, while being was able to show that in just, you know, day-to-day life with some kind of big things that happened along the way. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I have lived that life too. I've lived that life, and I've had big things happen amongst my kind of just normal day-to-day where not much happens too. And yeah, so I thought this was a really good movie. I thought visually it was well done. Yeah, it was really good. So hey, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back next time with another review.